Hello everyone. In this video of series 2, here I list down practical questions that are the most and frequently asked by the interviewer. So for that, let us first of all create one HTML file and we run this into browser. So let us here give script tag and here provide interview series 2 practical1.js and use the for keyword. And after that, let us run our HTML file inside browsers and side by side open our code editor. So let us solve one by one. So the first question is write a functions that find the most frequent item in array. So for that, let us we have const array is equal to 1 2 3 4 then 5 two times, so that means it gives output as a 5. So here is the most common questions of any JavaScript related interview for the front end or any other backend. So for that, let us create one function most frequent, and let's say pass here array, and inside that let us create one frequency map and it is object. After that, let us count max frequently for tracking. So let's say initialize with 0 and let max frequent number is equal to currently null because it is nothing inside that value at the initial stage. And after that, let us use for loop const item of array and inside frequently map and it key has item and pass the value. So how can we pass that value? So for that we use frequently map and here item as a key. Here we need pass to 0 and if it already exists then we increment by 1, and if frequently map item is greater than the max frequently number, here you can see this, so max frequency we need to update this value to the frequency map of item, and also we need to update this value max frequency number that is occurring. So let's say here use most frequently number. most frequently number most frequently number is equal to item whichever is key, and after that let's say return most frequently number, and let's say call these functions. Let's say call these functions using console use most frequent functions, and inside we need to pass an array 1 2 3 4 3 3 5, and let's say save and go to the console. So inside console it returns 3. So why it returns 3? Because 3 is most frequently occurring numbers. So inside we created one object. So let's say here console objects. So you can understand that frequently map. Now you can understand that here is the object and this returning key with occurrings. That means 1 is occurring one time, 2 is occurring one times, 3 is occurring 3 times, and let's say here add 4 also. Now you can see that 4 occurring 2 times. So when the first time it will be 0 at the initial stage of 0. So and inside this we check the max frequency. If 3's max frequency is greater than any value, then replace the value, update the value, and after that we here update element. So that's why it returned 3. So let us comment out and move to the another questions. Write a functions to the reverse string. So here is the common questions. To reverse a string, reverse string, and let's say pass here string, and here we can use directly functions return string dot split, and after that we use dot reverse, and after that we need to join also. Now you can see the output. Console, call the string reverse string and pass, let's say, JavaScript, and you can see the output. It will reverse the string. So the third question is write functions if two strings are anagram of each other or not. So this function split the string into arrays of character, sort the array, and then joins them back into strings. So if result, so anagram string is of a string is an, so an anagram string, that means another string that contains the same character, only the order of character can be different. So if same character contains order is whatever, that means these are the anagram strings. So for that we use functions are anagram, and inside we compare to two string str1 str2, and inside return str1 dot we split, and after that let us we want to sort, and after that we need to join. So and same for do str2 dot split, then using sort, and after that join. So if all elements are same to the string 1 and string 2, so that is written true, otherwise false. So console, then our anagram, here let's say pass silent, and let's say pass another is listen. So you can see that it gives true output. So after that, what is the fourth question? So fourth question is find the second largest number of an array. So here let's say create one function second largest, and here pass the array. Inside array we use unique sort array is equal to, let's say first of all spread new set. We use here set and pass the array. After that we got the all unique elements, we apply sort, and inside sort we pass a and b. These functions we already discussed in previous sections how sort r works. So here we need to use b minus a because we need to find the largest number, and return unique sort order array of 1, and let's say console second largest, inside we pass the array 1 2 3 4 5 6, so it gives 5 as the output. So these fifth questions we will discuss in next video because this question need to some more logic. So for that let us move to the sixth question first. So for that we need to find the non-repeating character function and first non-repeating first non-repeat and inside pass the string. Here use map is equal to empty object and for const care of string and here use map p as a character and is equal to we do that map character present or not. If not present then do with 0 and after if present then increment by 1 and after that for const care of str if map of character is equal to 1, so that means it occur first time. So here we need to return character and if not present then return let's say null and let's say console. Here pass the first non-repeating element and let's say give lit code. So you can see that it gives L, that means L is first non-repeating characters. Let's say we use double L, then you can see the changes. It gives now T because L is a repeating and E is also repeating, but the T is the first character that is occurrence only once, so that's why it gives T. And after that let us move to the last question. It is the most common questions while you are working on any DSA type of problem. So function, let's say Fibonacci, inside we pass the any number and const. Here we declare one sequence as of 0 and 1. So for let I is equal to 2, I greater than end and I plus plus, we push the sequence dot push and here sequence index minus 1 plus sequence index minus 2. So and after that let us return sequence and let's say console. We want to Fibonacci of 10. Fibonacci of 10. Now it gives 0 1 1, then 1 and 2's addition is 3, 3 and 2's addition is 5, 5 and 8's addition is 13, 13 and 21's addition is 34. So here are the some common and frequently asked questions by the interviewer. Hello everyone. In this video we will discuss about string related question as well as higher order functions related questions. So these are also frequently asked by the interviewer. So here first question is return the sum of all positive numbers in array. So for sum we use filter method to filter the all positive numbers and after that we apply the reduce method. So reduce method is also used for accumulator with any sum or average. So first of all let us filter the whole positive element from the array, sum of positive, and here pass the array inside. Let's say return array dot filter, here num and num with greater than 0, so that is fetch the all positive elements and after we use reduce method, reduce, and reduce takes two parameters, first accumulator and the current, that is we also discussed in past our videos, and after that we want to addition, so accumulator plus current, and we start the our accumulator with the 0. So that's why let us const array is equal to, let's say, pass -2, 3, -5, 6 and 1, and let's say console sum of all positive and pass the array. And before that, let us here attach our JavaScript file script interview series2 p2.js and use defer keyword. And after that, let us run the JavaScript file. First of all, run the our HTML file inside browser, and side by side open our code editor. So go to the console, and here you can see that it gives 10, 3, 6 and 1. So here is the question of all positive elements. How to find positive elements and then do the summation. And after that, the second question is return the average of an array. So here we use also same method to reduce method average, and here pass array, inside array return array dot reduce, and here pass accumulator as well as current, and after that we want to sum of all element current, and after sum we want to divide by array dot length, total number of element, so it gives average. So let's say console average, and here pass array of 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now let us save, and you can see that it's average 3. The summation of 15 and 15 divided by 5, so that's why it gives 3 average. After that, write the functions that return square numbers of another array. So we want to modify whole array, so that's why here we use map method. Function square, and inside we need to pass here array square, here pass array, inside array return array dot map, and num into num. So let's say console square and pass the array 1, 2, 3. Now you can see that it gives 1, 4 and 9. So here is about map method, and after here is the find the largest number of in array. So for the find the largest number of array, we use multiple methods, and we also use sort method and then reverse the array and find the largest element. Another method is reduce method. So we apply here reduce method. So also our concept should be strong. Function largest number, and inside pass array return, here use return array dot reduce method, here pass accumulator and current value. So inside, when current is greater than accumulator, then current, otherwise give accumulator, and here give with 0. So first of all, let us console largest number, and inside pass 3, 2, 6, 1, 7, 5, and console you can see that it gives 7 elements. So it will go through by one element. If current element is larger than accumulator, so here use max keyword, and let us here use max and max. So also we write this way: const val is equal to array dot reduce, and inside function of accumulator and current. So if accumulator is greater than, if current value is greater than accumulator, then current is equal to, then accumulator is equal to current, and after that here we need to return accumulator, and here we go to the zero value. So also here return val. Now you can see that it gives same output. So here using arrow functions, it reduce our code size. So at the first iteration 3. So current is 3 and accumulator is 0 at the initial state. So accumulator should be 3, and after 2 comes, so 2 is not greater than 3, so does not go to the if block. When 7 comes, then 7 is greater than 6, this is the accumulator. So 7 is greater than 6, so inside accumulator 7 is stored. So how? Here using we find our largest element. Here is two method, we can use any one of these. And after, the fifth question is remove duplicate elements. So for that, let us create set. We can use set. Here do not need to any make a functions, but let us solve using function remove duplicate, and here pass array, inside array return here, and spread the all any element, and use new, then use set, and inside set we pass the whole array. So it will filter out, and set has only unique values. So if any duplicate value present inside set, then set automatically remove that. And after that, let us console remove duplicates, and let's say give 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. Now you can see the output, it gives 1, 2 and 3. The seventh question is frequently asked questions, and it is good question. Write a functions that longest word in a string. So how to find that longest word in a string? So for that, let us make functions longest word string, and after that let word is equal to string dot split. First of all, split with this space, and after we use reduce method to count the length of each string. So inside pass we accumulator, so here we give longest name, longest, and then current word. Inside this, here word, here let's say use if word dot length is greater than longest dot length, then we want to store longest is equal to word, and finally we want to return longest, and also here we initialize longest with, let's say, empty string, because we work with the strings. So let's say console longest word, and here pass the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. And after that, let us save. You can see that cannot access word before its initialization. So here we need to return word, and let's say here we do mistake current word, and also inside current word dot length. So you can see that the quick has the maximum length, and also add here JavaScript. Then you can see the output, it gives JavaScript because JavaScript is the longest word. So here how we can use reduce method. And the final question is write the functions that return of vowels in strings. So how to find total number of vowels? So for that, let us make function count vowels inside the string. So for that, const count is equal to str dot, first of all we need to split by space, and after that we use filter keyword. Inside filter keyword, character is equal to, let's say, a e I o u dot includes, we use includes method, character dot to lowercase, and after that dot length. Now let's say here we need to return count. Let's say give count vowels. So here give JavaScript, and it, let's say give hello world. So it gives zero value. So why it gives zero value? So it does not try to give any space. So that's why it gives an error. So now you can see that H, O and O. So hello, let's say use JavaScript, and it gives 5. So here 5 vowels. So here is the way that we can find the total number of vowels inside any string. So here is the most frequently asked questions. So we will meet in next video. If you have some doubt or could not understand at any topic or any questions, then let me know. So we will meet in next video. Hello everyone, welcome to this video. In this section's JavaScript interview series 2, we will discuss about intermediate and advanced level concept. So in this video, we will discuss theoretical questions, and as well as I attach the snippet code also. So the common example of built-in HOFS, that means high order functions. So what is the high order functions that we already discussed in arrays section? So that are three type of: map, reduce and filter. So the first one is map. So map, apply a function to each element of array and create a new array with the result. So here is the example 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we want to apply all numbers to multiply by 2. So that are, we use map, that returns the new array. And another function is filter. So filter is another high order functions, and it is used to filter some values out of an array. You can see that in example even numbers, we have 1 to 5 numbers, and it is filter out the whole even numbers, and here is the output 2 and 4. and another is reduce functions. So it is applies to function against an accumulator and each element in array to reduce a single value. Let's say we have 1 2 3 4, and after we want to do sum of all numbers. So here we use accumulator and the numbers, and we start initialize accumulator with 0. So you can see that it will give 10 as a output, sum of all elements. And what is the scope in JavaScript? We discussed in how JavaScript works in this section, what is the scope and how ways to scope. So there are two scopes inside JavaScript. So the first one is global scope. So when variable declare outside on any function or block, that means they have belongs to the global scope, and global variable are accessible across the entire of the code, even within the functions. So here is the example. You can see that in global scope we declare global var I am global, and inside functions we use this global var, and when we call these functions, example functions, then it gives output I am from global. So here is the for global scope, and another scope is local scope. So local scope, that means we declare variable within the any functions or any block of code like inside if else. So here you can see that we have functions, and this local variable we declared inside these functions. So this local variable is accessible within these functions. And explain call, apply and bind methods in JavaScript. So we already discussed in brief videos. So the call, this method is used to invoke a function immediately. It allows you to specify the value of explicitly and pass argument one by one. And you can see that example, we have greet functions. Inside console we pass the name, and you can see that we call these functions and then we use call. After that we pass the whole object. So inside name it will fetch the name key from this object, and it prints hello and this dot name, so that means hello John. So here how call works. And after that apply. So similar to call, this method used to invoke a functions immediately, but it allows you to specify the value of this explicitly and pass argument as an array. So we already discussed about these methods and we done with the code. So you can see that here inside we pass argument inside an array. You can see this. So here is the changes difference between call and apply. And another is what is bind method. So bind method is used to create a new functions with specified context and any arguments. This original function is not executed immediately but can be later. And yeah, after that you can see that greet person greet dot bind, and within this bind functions we pass this object, and after it gives output hello John. And after that, what is the prototypes in JavaScript? We discussed this briefly in functions section. So every object in JavaScript has a prototype. So when you try to access a property or method on object, JavaScript first check the object itself. So let us go to the code. You can see that here is the functions, and function has name. And after that this function has a, we use prototype.greet. So this function has another functions and it has hello my name is this name. And let us create one object person1 is equal to new person alias. So here person1 dot greet, that first check inside the functions, that will not that will not found any of these functions. So after that they check into prototype and there is a function found greet. So that's why it return hello my name is this dot name, that means alias. And what is the temporal date zone? We already discovered topic in our closures, what is temporal date zone and closures, how works. So the temporal date zone is phenomenon JavaScript associated with the use of let and const keyword, unlike the where keyword. In ECMAScript 6, this access let or const variable before it's declared. So that means they throw a reference error. So that time it counts to the temporal date zone. So you can see this example const log a, and after that we declare the a is equal to 10, so we cannot access before the initialization, so that's why it gives reference error, and within this time it is called temporal date zone. So in next video we will discuss about practical questions.